You love tries, I love tries, we all love tries. And this episode is about tries. We're going to talk about how the best attacks in the world unlock the toughest defences. And I'm joined by Steffon Armitage, ex-England player and scorer of some exceptional tries. Well, we've seen 6.6 tries a game this World Cup, which is about one a game more than 2019 or 2015. How much of attacks changed this year compared to previous World Cups?
I just think everyone's taken a little bit of a look at the French flair de jouer. Everyone wants to have a crack, and I think that's why there's so many tries going on at the moment. You kind of have to play rugby now.
Well, you retired at the end of last season, but which World Cup team do you think you thrive most in?
I think all of them, to be honest. I'm just the man of the people, so I could play with anyone. But I quite like Fiji. Do you know what I mean? So I see myself as 6'6", holding the ball in one hand, scoring 80-metre tries. So yeah, Fiji.
Well, to be great at attacking, you need a few things. Stuff that you've got, Steffon. You need some pace, high skill level, bit of misdirection, and power as well. And arguably no team have got more power than South Africa. So if we look so far, 59% gain line success against Scotland, which is unbelievably high. They won 5 scrum penalties against Scotland, 11 line outs from 12. I mean, when we talk about power, we're talking not only about the carries, but about what you do at the breakdown and the maul and the set piece.
Yeah, I think South Africa is just a team that you look at now. It's a machine. I think you've got these big guys, which they use constantly. Pick and goes or around the corner. And eventually, if you keep bashing into a brick wall, it's going to fall down.
Well, we can see that in this first clip here. This is against Scotland. So South Africa are obviously close to the Scotland line. In these situations, we expect them to just kind of stay tight and go hard at them. If we're going to look at some specifics here, we can see how when Malcolm Marx receives this ball, his hips are pointing towards the try line. He's not going away or towards the breakdown. He's just going forward. Why is that so important?
Having a guy who's that explosive in that position, you're going to have 2 or 3 players coming to try and tackle him.
So one of the keys as well about squaring up to the line is that you give yourself the option to both carry but also tip the pass to the outside or go to the inside.
You can't really rush up on someone who's positioned in that situation, because you can do a pass on the inside, you keep hold of the ball, you can put us on the outside. So you've got 3 things to look at. That's what makes it so difficult, especially when you have a man that powerful carrying the ball to start off with.
When we see as we go to the next phase, Peter Steffon takes the carry, but because South Africa have just worked their way around and just kept going the same direction, he's lunging against Tuapolotu, the inside centre, who's a strong tackler, but that's the matchup that you want.
Yeah, definitely. That's what they built their game on, the whole game, which is to suck the forwards in and then get the big guys running at the backs.
And once you've won that power game, it makes the rest of your attack so much easier.
Yeah, definitely. The spaces open up everywhere, because obviously there's the forwards, then you get the backs running against the forwards, which is what you want after, because all the backs have been sucked in by the forwards.
Well, we can see in the second clip here, it's not just a case of their exceptional power game. They also turn their defence into attack. So again, this is from the Scotland game, and we see they get this turnover, they counter-look, they drive over that kind of look that hasn't got enough Scotland players in, and now they get to play off this broken field with Scotland suddenly transitioning from attacking to defence. As a player, what are you told to do in those moments where you've either just got the turnover or you've got the penalty advantage?
The penalty advantage is to get the ball away from the ruck as quickly as possible. Our game plan's always been 2 passes away and then go for the space. You've got to go over that game line. Once you get over the game line, it's pretty much the other team, the defence, is always trying to catch up. If you get 2 passes away and you keep going forward, keep playing, using the big guys, and then get it out to the quick guys after, it's pretty much a simple game plan, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, we see this here, this next phase where they strike. Mine Le Boc, it's exceptional ability to read what's going on here. You can actually see Scotland have got the 6, the 7 and the 8 defending on that edge. And so what Le Boc sees is he's got an opportunity there to exploit those 3 potentially slower players.
Yeah, but I don't really think it's to exploit the 3 players, because I think Richie, most of the back rows they've got, they're quite athletic, they're quite quick, and quite a few of them can actually play in the backs. So what's the best option? The best option is to try and get away from these guys, kick towards space, give them a chance one-on-one. Anything could happen.
So we talked about South Africa's power game there. We're going to look at a team who plays quite differently, Ireland, and their expansive game. And what they're looking to do is they try to spread the pitch as wide as possible to then open up opportunities in the middle. And we're going to use Live Tag Pro to show what that looks like in this clip. So this is Ireland going off the top of the line out. And you can see from Murray's pass, they're almost in the middle of the pitch. You can see Mac Hansen there, who's again almost stood on the touchline. This is stuff that we see quite often now. It's just to make the pitch as wide as possible, make the defence defend as much as possible. So we can see this here. They go through one phase, and then the second phase, it's section with a ball back inside, and then it's really just the Irish forwards who finish this off. Again, they're obviously attacking close to the ruck. We wouldn't call that an expansive attack, but it's happening because Ireland are spreading the pitch like that.
You've got most of the times the big fast ball carriers are coming on the inside and they're running against props who are coming around the corner. If you suck them in, you keep playing those balls inside, eventually Tonga are going to get closer and closer and then the space is going to be open. Hence why they kept two guys on either wing and there was space everywhere.
We can see exactly the same thing again. It's not quite as maybe dynamic as we saw before, but we've got Mac Hansen on the wing, pulling as much width as possible, and we've got almost a set play here where Ireland are just going through the middle, got Bundyaki playing nine, and Colin Murray is making that break with the man on the inside.
It's not just the backs, it's not just Murray, Sexton, Ringrose and Bundyaki making the difference. If you look carefully, the forwards coming in and giving that little block, pretending that they're not in the way, that makes a difference, and I think it's something that quite a lot of teams use, trying not to be too obvious. You've got to try and make the spaces however you can. It's just all about being smart.
One of the reasons why Ireland play like this is because they've got ball players right the way across the pitch, both in the subs and in the starting 15. Other teams could line up like this, but they wouldn't be as effective.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything they do, it's just so spot on. It's by the book. You've got the strong ball carriers. You've got a back row who will steal ball. They'll run over people. You've got Sexton, who it looks like sometimes he's got days before he needs to pass the ball or kick the ball. And then you've got Bundyaki, who's having an unbelievable World Cup at the moment.
Well, we're also seeing increased level of attacking awareness amongst the emerging sides. We're going to have a look at Portugal now. And some of what they do in attack is absolutely fantastic. But what they do is they try and attack off broken field. So when we talk about broken field, we're talking about kicks like this one that weren't reclaimed by Wales, or turnovers. Why does that present such good attacking opportunities?
They're one of the smaller teams. So to play a physical game against a team like Wales, it's a very hard job to do. And it's all about playing quick ball with the smaller teams. For it to work, you've got to up the pace.
We saw that 4 years ago with Japan, where they played very similar to how Portugal play, incredibly quick and just using their pace to override other teams' power.
They went as a group, so that's what makes these small countries so great to watch.
Well, we see this with Portugal. You talked there about finding the space, whether that's passing or running straight at it, and there they just run straight at it. But then the thing that really makes this, and it doesn't quite end up in a try, but the thing that makes this is the support line there. How do you practice for broken field play?
It's one of those things in training, like we do, like two teams attack, and then all of a sudden there's a turnover ball, the coach just throws another ball in the pitch, and then we just play. So you get players all over the place, and it's literally a way of just identifying where the space is. It's just all about surprising people when they least expect to have the ball. Throw one in and let them play, see what happens.
So we talked about power, pace, skill, but also misdirection, and we saw that for Portugal when they scored their try against Wales. This is just a beautiful bit of misdirection. Talk us through what's going on here, Steffon.
Well, it's pretty much a simple play. They've realised how Wales defend off a 5 metre line out, and you could clearly see that the prop was always going to go in. If you jump at the front, that prop's always going to go in. So you're going to be left with the scrum half down the front. So why not have a big number 7 run straight where the gap is? You know, every team has one special Hail Mary. Just go for it. And I think this was theirs, and it worked.
Well, we see the level of detail here. So the try scorer, he's in the line out. Yeah. He fake jumps and then just stands there as if he's going to then maul it. Yeah. And that level of kind of looking like he's not going to do anything special, that is what sucks Wales in to protect them all. And then by the time the ball's out, they're all defending them all. Why is it so important to have that solid set piece?
It's simple. It's the foundation of a rugby game. Is to have a good line out and a good scrum.
We're going to look at a team who can do it all now, and that's France. In your eyes, are they the best attacking team we've got at this World Cup?
Yeah, they're definitely up there. I'll say definitely it's up there, even with Ireland at the moment in attack. But they do have everything.
We're going to look at their power games. This is against Uruguay, and they've got that 5 metre scrum, and one of the benefits of a scrum is it ties in 16 players on the pitch, so it creates space for the other 7. As a kid, I was told never to run sideways with the ball, but France scored this try because they were running sideways.
I think sometimes that's what you need, to draw the defence out and then bring guys back in on the inside. It makes confusion everywhere, so I think sometimes it does work. Maybe probably not against the top teams in the world, but I think this game it worked because they knew they had the pace on them on the outside, so why not use it?
Well, we're going to look at this final example here. They know 77 minutes on the clock, 9 points down. They know that New Zealand are going to attack from deep. And so this is just a situation to give them the ball, let them attack, but then try and play off mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got to look at who their defence coach is, Sean Edwards, and you could see the way France defend. They rush up, they hit hard, hardly any tries that go against them. If you've got the best defence, why not let them play? Eventually they're going to make a mistake. If you stay on your feet and you do the right things without giving away any penalties, you're going to get the ball back. So if you keep them there 22, it's either they kick it out, we get the ball back, or we'll get a turnover at some point.
And we see them scored off broken field, off turnover, and this is Maxime Lucu just putting the kick where anything could happen. It could bounce into touch, it could bounce into New Zealand hands, but luckily for them it bounces into their hands.
The ball is, as we call it in French, ovale, so it could bounce anywhere.
So Fiji have set the World Cup alight. Nobody's ever won a World Cup playing in their style, attacking from deep, all the offloads, incredibly high-risk game plan. Can that win a World Cup?
I definitely do think so. I think they've got the passion. I've got quite a lot of friends who are Fijians, and when they say when they play it back home, it's just literally what's in front of you. You got to look at Josh Josepha. He could either run through you or he'll run around you. And it's one of those things, what do I do? And it's not just him. You've got from 1 to 23 who could do that.
Change of pace. England, very conservative, very cautious at the moment. No one can argue it hasn't been effective.
For me, I don't think they're showing enough to scare other teams off. But yeah, it's working. You've got 40s in there who's doing what he does. Coming against the bigger teams later on, I think it's going to be a very, very difficult battle for them if they're not willing to play rugby.
So we've talked about South Africa's power, France flair, Portuguese pace, the smartness of the Irish attack. What's the best style? The
best style would probably be a little bit of French flair, obviously, always. I've got to kind of back the team. Whose country I'm living in at the moment, but also having the structure of Ireland and the physicality of South Africa. Mix the 3 teams together, I think you'll have the perfect team.
Yeah, if someone does that, they'll win the World Cup.
Yeah, definitely.
We've heard that defence wins championships, but it's the attack that keeps us watching. We've talked through the best attacks in the world, but who have we missed? Let us know in the comments, and also let us know who's going to win the Rugby World Cup. This has been Beyond 80, and we'll be back next week.